So you're walking down the street, maybe heading home from work, maybe leaving the ATM, maybe just minding your own business. Life is normal. You're thinking about dinner, or that text you need to send back, or whether you remembered to lock your car. Basic, everyday stuff. Then it happens. Maybe it's footsteps behind you that sound too close, too deliberate. Maybe it's a voice that says, "Hey," in a tone that makes your stomach drop. Maybe it's someone stepping out from between parked cars. Perhaps it's just a feeling. That primal instinct that something is very, very wrong. Your brain does this weird thing where time stretches and compresses at the same time. Everything slows down, but also happens way too fast. You're processing a million thoughts in seconds. Is this really happening? Maybe they just want directions. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Oh God, this is actually happening. The moment you realize you're being robbed, and I mean really realize it, your body betrays you in ways you never expected. Your mouth goes dry instantly. Your hands start shaking, but it's not the dramatic movie shake. It's this weird, uncontrollable tremor that makes you feel pathetic. Your heart doesn't just beat fast, it pounds so hard you can hear it in your ears, drowning out everything else. And here's what nobody tells you about being the victim of a crime. You immediately start negotiating with reality. Maybe if I give them my wallet, this will be over. Maybe they don't actually have a weapon. Maybe this is just a misunderstanding. Your brain refuses to accept that you've suddenly become a statistic. If there's a weapon involved, a knife, a gun, even just the threat of one, your body does things that will embarrass you later. Maybe you wet yourself a little. Maybe your knees literally buckle. Maybe you start crying before you even realize you're scared. And you'll hate yourself for all of these reactions afterward, even though they're completely normal. The robber is usually nothing like what you imagined. Forget the movies. They're probably just as nervous as you are. Maybe high, maybe desperate, maybe just some kid who made a terrible decision. But in that moment, they control everything about your immediate future. And that power dynamic is terrifying in a way you can't prepare for. You start calculating. How much cash do you have? What's in your wallet that you can't replace? Your credit cards, you can cancel those. Your driver's license, annoying but replaceable. But what about that photo of your grandmother? What about your engagement ring? What about your phone with all those pictures you never backed up? And then you realize how stupid these thoughts are because this person could hurt you, could kill you, and you're worried about photos. But your brain doesn't care about logic right now. It's just firing in every direction. The actual robbery part usually happens fast. Give me your wallet. Give me your phone. Empty your pockets. Simple commands that you follow because what choice do you have? Your hands shake as you comply, and you keep thinking, just get through this. Just survive this. You might try to be polite. Insane, right? But you'll find yourself saying please and thank you to someone who's robbing you. Here's my wallet. Please don't hurt me. As if good manners will somehow protect you from a violent criminal. Here's something that'll mess with your head. Part of you might feel bad for them. I know it sounds crazy, but when you see how desperate or young or strung out they are, some twisted part of your brain starts thinking, maybe they really need this money more than I do. You'll hate yourself for thinking that later. The waiting is torture. While they're going through your stuff, while they're deciding what to take, while they're figuring out what to do next, you're just standing there, completely powerless. You might start babbling, trying to fill the silence. I don't have much cash, but you can have it all. My PIN is ... You become pathetically helpful to your own robber. And the whole time, you're looking around for help that probably isn't coming. Where is everyone? Why is the street suddenly empty? Why isn't anyone calling the police? You realize how alone you really are. How vulnerable we all are, walking around assuming we're safe. If they ask for your PIN, your brain short-circuits. Do you give them the real one? Do you lie and risk making them angry? What if they march you to an ATM? What if this is just the beginning? Every decision feels like it could be the difference between getting home safe or ending up on the news. The moment they leave, whether they run, walk away, or just disappear into the night, you don't feel relief. You feel empty, violated, like someone reached inside you and took something you can't get back. And it's not about the money or the phone or whatever they stole. It's about your sense of safety, your trust in the world, your belief that bad things happen to other people. You stand there for a moment, maybe longer, just processing what happened. Your legs feel weak. You might throw up. You might start crying. You might just feel numb. And then the practical stuff kicks in. Call the police. Cancel your cards. But first, you need to get somewhere safe. And everywhere feels dangerous now. Reporting to the police is its own nightmare. You have to relive it all immediately, while you're still shaking, while the adrenaline is still coursing through you. Can you describe the suspect? And you realize you barely remember what they looked like because you were too scared to have a good look at them. Was he tall? Short? What was he wearing? Your memory is already getting fuzzy. The police officer is probably nice enough, but they've heard this story 1,000 times. To them, it's just another robbery report. To you, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you. The disconnect is jarring. They ask questions like, "Why were you walking alone?" Or, "Why were you carrying so much cash?" And suddenly you feel like you're being blamed for your own victimization. Filing the report, you realize how little of your stuff you'll actually get back. That cash? Gone forever. Your phone? Maybe, but probably wiped clean. Your sense of security? Definitely not covered by insurance. The next few days are weird. Everyone wants to know if you're okay, and you don't know how to answer that. Physically, you're fine. Emotionally, you're a mess. You jump at every sound. You take different routes everywhere. You look over your shoulder constantly. Sleep is impossible because every time you close your eyes, you relive those few minutes. People try to help with advice that makes you want to scream. They tell you, you should carry a fake wallet with small bills. You should have fought back. You should have screamed louder. You should have run. As if you had time to think through a tactical response while someone was threatening your life. The worst part is how it changes you. You become paranoid in ways that feel rational but probably aren't. You cross the street when you see groups of people. You don't go out after dark alone. You clutch your bag tighter. You become one of those people you used to think were paranoid, except now you understand why. Your friends and family mean well, but they don't get it. They think you should be over it after a week or two. After all, you weren't physically hurt, right? But being robbed isn't just about losing stuff. It's about losing your innocence, your sense that the world is mostly safe, your trust in your own judgment. Some nights, you'll lie awake thinking about what you should have done differently. What if you'd taken a different route? What if you'd been more aware? What if you'd fought back? These thoughts will torture you, even though you know logically that you did exactly what you should have done. You survive. And here's something nobody talks about. Sometimes you'll feel guilty for having stuff worth stealing in the first place. Survivor's guilt, but twisted. Like, somehow you deserved it because you had a nice phone or you were carrying cash. Your brain will play these sick games with you. Months later, you might see someone who looks like your robber, and your heart will start pounding again. You might have panic attacks in situations that used to feel normal. You might avoid certain areas of town forever. The ripple effects go on and on. Eventually, you'll realize that being robbed taught you something valuable and terrible. How fragile everything really is. How quickly your normal life can be interrupted by random violence. How little control you actually have over what happens to you on any given day. And that's the real crime, isn't it? Not just taking your stuff, but taking your peace of mind. Taking your ability to walk down the street without calculating risk. Taking that blissful ignorance that lets most people go through life assuming they're safe. Some people become advocates after being victimized. They channel their anger into making the world safer. Others just become more careful, more aware, more afraid. There's no right way to process it, no timeline for getting over it, no manual for how to be a victim. The hardest part might be accepting that this is part of your story now. That you're someone who's been robbed. That you've seen a side of humanity you wish you could unsee. That you know, in your bones, how quickly everything can change. But here's what you also learn. You're stronger than you thought. You survived something terrible. You're still here. That's not nothing. That's everything. And maybe, eventually, you'll realize that while being robbed took something from you, it also gave you something. Empathy for other victims, awareness of your own resilience, appreciation for the ordinary moments when nothing bad is happening. That's the thing about trauma. It changes you. But it doesn't have to destroy you. You get to decide what to do with the experience, how to carry it, whether to let it make you bitter or make you stronger. So if this ever happens to you, remember, give them what they want, get home safe, and know that the stuff they took doesn't define you. You do. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you understand something you hoped you'd never have to understand, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more honest breakdowns of life's worst moments. And remember, stay aware, but don't live in fear. Most days nothing bad happens. Focus on those days.